crypto community have the XRP army, and we all stick together, and we can make it through any storm, any weather. There's nobody in the world that I know does it better. So all debtors, shred up them letters. Soon to the moon, it's gonna be all better. And I'ma sell, but I'ma always hold a little something until we hit like 5,008, 9 something. While we get suspected, we blast and
Oh
we
no. Okay.
seconds and we blast again. You searching through the record, the new digital age.
Okay, well, you know what? That's good to know. I played that from my iPad because typically speaking, when you play music from another device, it's usually better. But now that I have everything hooked up, I think I will just try playing music directly through the laptop. Again, you know what? Thanks for helping me workshop, guys. But I actually want to get into this discussion today because I know we're all excited to talk XRP. World actually bugged me about this yesterday, really wanted to talk about it. And what? It's amazing. World is amazing. So let's just. He really does. Okay. We're going to talk about XRP's latest to the moon fantasy or reality, a futures launch that's either genius or a glorified casino chip dump. Plus, we've got DeFi platforms trying to out gimmick each other like crypto's a theme park. So let's see who's building the next Disneyland and who's peddling snake oil. Now, world, you're going to be the first one to answer. Do you think XRP can realistically hit $6.50 by May 2025?
I'm going to talk a lot less in this specific space. I'm going to let Kings and Postage talk more because they're never here. Well, Kings is always here, but he's always in the background. So I'm going to be conscious of the fact that they're here too. So I personally believe you said by May, like, do you mean May 1st or May 31st?
May 31st, yeah.
May 31st, definitely can. Especially if we have, see what happens with the, well, I don't know if you guys just saw that they posted in the news, sources that next, Putin has said he wants to negotiate with Ukraine, and President Trump spoke with I think yesterday or this morning. On top of like that macro event, we also have the macro event of the ETFs, which is Americans. So we get positive news and ETFs coming, and we also get the pledge for Justice to lift the injunction. We definitely can have a situation where XRP can run, and we've already seen it run close to all-time high. So once it gets past that one, once it gets past that all-time high, the current all-time high, I think it's like $3.50 or something, $3.50. And we can see a run up. Why not? We already saw it once, 50 cents of $3, so we can definitely see it again in faster as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, wow, yeah, I mean, I'd love to, kind of entertain that thought further or maybe Kill has a disagreement. I don't know. Let's find out.
Disagreement. I think it's just that I have more of a healthy, in my opinion, like a healthy fear of what the market can bring. And I know World has a very educated view of what's going on, and he's very studious. He looks at what the long-term impact is going to be, and I think even for the short term, like we're discussing, you were saying by the end of May of this year, correct?
Correct.
Yes. So I mean, do I think it can hit six? You said 650. I mean, shit. I mean, I honestly think it could hit $5. I think that could for sure happen. I really do. I mean, I know that once everything gets reset on the government side, I think that they have a great chance to be able to move the maneuver a lot better. And I think the volume is obviously there, right? Like people believe in XRP. It's been touted as something that the government is going to invest in long term. And I think that's an important part of it as well, right? We know that the U.S. is going to incorporate it into the fold for the reserve that we put together of different cryptocurrencies, and we know that. And I personally think that one of the only ways to gain real leverage in this industry is by futures and perpetual trading. And that's just because I think it allows people to have that risk reward aspect. Now, is it going to hurt a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, it is. But there'll also be a lot of winners. There will, and I think that's just kind of how it goes when you're in a situation that has, you know, the potential for massive gain or massive loss. And so I think it can be a good thing, and I think it all is dependent upon how people choose to, put their money to use for themselves. I think XRP has one of those greatest opportunities to be a quick riser simply because it has everything that it needs to be, at a much higher level than it's trading currently in the immediate future, as opposed to a lot of things that still need to get this or that done or need to fix this or that issue. And I think that's one thing XRP excels at. So, I mean, I don't want to say I disagree with World at all. I just think my price target's a little bit not as bullish as that. But do I think that it could happen? Sure. I mean, in this space, one thing I've learned is that you don't ever put limits on things, because especially things that have proven themselves to be solid and have longevity, because at any point in time, right, like in a week, we could be in a straight up bull run. And if we're in a straight up bull run through May, 650 is probably on the low end, right? So, I mean, you never know what we're going to walk into. But I think if things stay similar to how they are now, but continuing to move green, I think we see at least $5 by the end of May, just because that's not too far from where we are right now, about 30 days. So.
I agree with you, by the way. I wasn't saying that it will. I was saying that it could. Yeah, $5 obviously more realistic. Even just hitting $4 or just touching by the end of May 31st, I think is a lot more likely than it means getting the $6. So letting you know that I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, no, 100%. For whatever. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be annoying. Okay, well, I'm gonna. For some reason, my phone thinks I'm not connected to the space, but I'm connected to this space. I hope if I don't press reconnect, it doesn't crash the whole thing. I just want to know really quick if it will. Um. Okay, yeah, okay. I'll just try it and see what happens. No, it's fine. You know what? It's not. It doesn't. It looks like now I'm. It still it wants me to like listen to my own space, which I'm already in, but whatever. I don't. This is something I'm gonna have to whatever dig into later. But I do want to get to the next question because, yeah, World can be like really, really bullish, and that's one of the things I love about World. But at the same time, it's like it's always good to get devil's advocate. It's always good to get other perspectives because, maybe there's something he hasn't considered or that, I haven't considered. And so there we go. GM. Um,
We have to be realistic and cautious, though. Like, we have to be cautious because if we're going in the direction we want to, and I'm going in the direction where I'm my startup, it needs to be more um, a hedge some kind of situation. Because I feel like members approach me about investing in crypto. They don't have me invest. I have to be cautious. So you're gonna start seeing more cautious and pessimistic me. That does happen in about 6 months to a year.
well,
I've had the same thing happen struggling. I think that's why I always realize now I didn't understand for the longest time that I actually had influence on some level, or what people thought to a certain degree in different groups that I was part of. And when I realized that, I was like, damn, Spider-Man line with great power comes great responsibility. And that's the truth. You have the ability to have even a small one person in space. It makes you have to have a lot more accountability, because you got to watch what you say, right? You don't want to lead anybody down a path that is beneficial for them. And I think one thing for me is, and like you said, I don't want to call it pessimistic, but I just have realism and try to look at things from a realistic perspective. At the same time, do I want all these things to send, especially things like XRP that I hold and have money in? Of course. I mean, of course I do. But I've been through enough, I'm a couple cycles, and I've been through enough time in the space, good and bad, that I see that there's a lot of chances and opportunities for things to go, one way or the other way. And no matter how you look at it, the system is always going to continue to move up, simply in my opinion, because more and more people are going to continue to, come in over time.
I mean, no. Am I echoing? Fuck. Okay, well. Is that better now?
You're listening to yourself. Okay? That's what you sound like when you're listening to yourself.
Whoa, Red, were you just in, like, do you have, like, free reign?
No. Like, okay, I'm not echoing anymore. Okay, so what I did was I logged into the space on my phone. So now my phone thinks I'm logged in. And at the same time, I'm also logged in on the laptop. Because I didn't understand, like, why it didn't, like, usually it posts the room again when I do this. But it didn't do that today when I logged in from the laptop. But I mean, that's fine. I'm not upset or anything. I just was curious about that. So I went ahead and it's now that I'm muted on the phone, you're not going to hear any other echoing. So we're fine. Okay, cool. Um, that being said, I like where world is going with the more we get into this, we do have more sense of responsibility for giving people advice. And so I don't know if I would call what you're calling pessimism. I would just say you're proceeding with caution because you don't want to get rugged or have a bad experience. You don't want other people to have a bad experience. So I think that there's nothing wrong with being bullish, but also just, you know, signaling to people that they need to proceed with caution. I think that just means that you care and that you're not a scammer. And I'd say that for all of you guys here. So I don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever. Um, but okay. And now we're back on the subject of being ominous. So like, but what happens, right, if XRP fails to break $3 on May 10th? Yeah.
I think it would fail state and not supporting growth. I know you have a good answer here. I think if it fails, I think these XRP maxis are like Bitcoin maxis. They're not going anywhere. Their resilience is strong, and they fully believe in what the project has to offer. And I think when you have groups that are that convicted, or groups that have put a lot of money into a project individually, and like on rugs, like you said, just real quick. I mean, I've lost over 100K on rugs in my time and space, and that's legitimate, more than 100K. And that's just because when you first start out, it's easy to get into bad situations, or you need to hear the right things. And when you have money, like was coming in last cycle for me, it was very easy to just say, oh, 5 grand here, 5 grand there. Nowadays, I trade much more, nuanced and carefully close to the chest. I do think that eventually XRP is going to have a blow up, just because, on a positive side, just because it's got so many things working for it in the positives, and from my aspect. So I just think that the time for it to come and really hit those numbers, and maybe eventually get to that $10 mark, which is what I know a lot of people want to see. I think that's possible. I think it can happen.
Okay, we said by May 10th, right? By May 10th.
I think we were saying May 30th, actually.
Okay, this is a bit different. Okay, May 10th and May 30th are different things, am I right? That's the same thing.
No, you're definitely right. We're looking at like a 2-week period versus a month. So yeah, definitely a lot different.
Okay, so if it does hit on May 30th, me personally, I don't see an issue because we have to remember that in addition to the fact that Japanese banks are using it for remittances, and the U.S. banks will start using it as soon as the same junction. We have to look at it as an investment. We're hedge fund private equity firms. They look at it as long term. Remember that when we had the panel around a month or so ago, we talked about the fact that somebody asked, hey, it goes up and down like crazy every day. But it's like, listen, long term, think Warren Buffett's on investing. It's gonna go higher. So when you have Japanese banks using it, the U.S. banks will have to use it, even if it doesn't hit $2 by May 30th. So why not? Right? Why not? It doesn't mean that it's a project. I mean, you have that maximum, I think it's eight maximals in the whole source, but they're going to keep the price up. But you also have the futures, right? So the Chicago Market Fund, I believe, because Postgres mentioned futures is going to begin. What's the date for that when this government market policy is going to begin? I think it's like will that this upcoming week or next week or when?
I think it's next week, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back and look at the date. I'll be honest, this month I have so much stuff going on. My birthday is usually right on or right around Mother's Day. I was born on the 12th. Yes, I'm boxing my birthday. But yeah, so I always have so much going on with days because King's birthday is this month, my birthday, my dad's birthday, Mother's Day. So all the important, all the important holidays coming up this month. But I am pretty sure it's the first week of May. Like, I wanted to say, but I could be wrong on that date. I can look it up. But yeah, I mean, I do know that it's coming for the next 10, 14 days.
So macro is aligning in the next few weeks, in the next month or so. So even if it doesn't hit $2 by May 30th, which I think it would. Even if it doesn't hit by May 30th, it's still going to long term. It's still a good long term.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's partnered with the banks.
Echoing again.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how to fix it.
If it's your phone and laptop, I didn't say that.
Is your computer logged into your X account?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how to log out of the phone.
Like I would just like leave the space on the phone and stay in the space on your computer.
I can't just leave the space because I'm the host.
But so you didn't start it on your laptop, basically.
No, I did, and then I joined on the phone too.
Then you can leave on your phone because you'll still be in the space on your laptop.
I mean, it's probably gonna rug the whole thing, but let's find out. Here we go. Yeah.
Earl, do you ever play video games?
Oh wait, I just left and it was okay. All right, here we go.